Phyllis?
Yes, something about the earlobes today, right?
So strange. I mean, yes, but we are talking about earlobes and how they could be a predictor of a certain chronic disease.
That's crazy. I didn't know they had any other functions than fashion.
Right?
And fashion?
They also hold beautiful earrings.
I know, right?
Well, guys, you're going to want to listen up for this one. Okay, so yes, we are talking about cardiovascular disease and why the shape of your earlobe could be a predictor of whether you are at risk of a heart attack. This structure of your earlobe, or the shape of it, turns into something like a diagonal crease. It's also described as a wrinkle or a deep fold. But before we get into that, guys, I want to talk about some statistics, I should know that by now. Data, let's say data. Okay, so heart disease is the leading cause of death for men and women in the U.S. One person dies every 34 seconds in the United States from cardiovascular disease. An estimated 700,000 people in the U.S. died from heart disease in 2020. That's 1 in every 5 deaths. Heart disease cost the United States about $229 billion each year from 2017 to 2018. This includes the cost of healthcare services, medicines, and lost productivity due to death. And coronary heart disease, which we're going to be talking about, is the most common type of heart disease. So this crease that we have, it's called Frank's sign. It's named after scientist Dr. Sander Frank, who discovered the link between back in 1973. So we have what we hear, this image right here. It's associated with a risk for coronary artery disease, which is a type of heart disease where plaque builds up in your arteries. So this happens when your arteries become narrower. So when your arteries become narrower because of the plaque, you think of it as like a hose, right? So if you have a garden hose, it just freely flows, you water your garden, but then what happens if you should squeeze the hose? It comes out faster.
Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. That's what happens when plaque gets in your arteries. So we don't want that. So this crease in our ear, scientists say, or at least this scientist says, and there's been many other studies after this 1973 scientists that have said that this is an indicator of coronary artery disease. So this can lead to a heart attack. So the why is still unclear, why a crease is a possible indicator, but the theory is that people who have this, what's called Frank's sign, and coronary artery disease have lower levels of 2 proteins that play a critical role in maintaining the arteries, sort of like the flexibility, the flow, the gentleness, right? Because when you have coronary artery disease, your arteries become stiff, and that's not what we want. So yeah, that's what it is. It's so interesting, right?
To know our bodies. Wow.
We are able to determine that and to be able to look for signs like that, because obviously, other than symptoms that you're experiencing, feeling, you can't see what's going on inside your body.
Right.
So I love that it's an exterior sign like that. Didn't realize that was possible. Thank you for letting us know.
Exactly. Kayla, that's amazing, because you're right. We have these sort of like signs that sort of creep up on us. And then we also, I remember one time we were talking about stroke, risk of stroke versus what we do with the hand.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, if your thumb crosses your hand, you're at higher risk of stroke.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they don't know what's going on here, but it just so happens to be a correlation. But this actually is very interesting because they know that these 2 protein levels are lower, which is going to affect the circulation in your ear and in your blood vessels.
We'll spend some time with your ears, everybody.
Yeah, if you have
that,
you're
watching behind those anyway. Make sure you scrub. Don't be a non-scrubber. Thank you so much, Dr.
Oh, you're
Mary.
so welcome. Thank you, guys.